And we're going to start sitting today for week 2, beginner stretch, winter 2022 edition. Week 2, 2022. Good omen. So coming to cross-legged or cross-angled, or if you're sitting in a chair or a couch, whatever sitting position you are in, we're just going to take a few moments to breathe, find yourself. Palms facing up, backs of the hands on the knees. And just notice how you're feeling, how you're breathing. Notice where the tension is: neck, jaw, feet, hips, back, heart. And don't worry about it, just notice it. Start to think a little bit more about your hips, how they're pressing into the ground or your chair. Use that pressure of your hips against the ground, your glutes against the ground, to give yourself a little bit more length in your spine, to sit up a little bit taller. Using that oppositional force. And start to focus a little bit more on the breath, just trying to breathe into the lower abdomen, just below the belly button. You can put your hands here for a moment to feel that breath. Breathing as deep as you can. You can imagine your diaphragm expanding like a balloon, and then contracting. Actually, the opposite. It's contracted. Anyways, never mind. Your belly expands like a balloon. And when your lower abdomen is full of air, then you can breathe into your chest, your ribs. And when you exhale, empty from the top down. So all of the air that's in the rib cage leaves first, and then the middle of the torso, and then that last bit of air right from underneath the belly button, that's the last bit of air to exit. Just breathing through the nose for now. And then starting to warm up the neck, looking over one shoulder. Doesn't matter which one first. And the other. Looking back and forth a couple of times. You don't actually have to turn your head all the way back. Just gentle. And coming back to center, bringing one ear to one shoulder. And all the way through center to the other ear, to other shoulder. Back and forth a couple times, nice and slowly. It doesn't have to be moving with the breath, but it's great if you do. Just feeling that little stretch at the end and then coming back through your center. And then right ear to right shoulder, tuck your chin into your chest and half circle all the way to left ear to left shoulder. Just the front half of the circle. And back. I'm a fan of the number 3, so we'll do 3 to either side. Just slow, just feeling all of the tight muscles. Not worrying about them, but noticing where they are. And eventually coming to rest with your chin tucked into your chest. Let your head hang heavy. Maybe put a little bit of weight just into the elbows just to keep the shoulders down. If that gives you a little bit more stretch right in the back of the neck there. And keeping your chin tucked in, slowly lift up one vertebra at a time until your chin has to lift, and then lift your nose. Look up at the ceiling or halfway to the ceiling. Don't crank your head all the way back. Totally okay to do a quarter crank. And back to center. A couple of shoulder rolls here. Starting to warm up a little bit lower in the body. Inhale to lift the shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale to roll them back and down. You breathe in through the nose. Sigh out through the mouth. Again, noticing any crunching or tension, and just be okay with it. Coming through full arm circles now. Inhale, arms coming forward. Exhale, big circle, arms backwards, palms facing down. 2 more like that, because we're doing 3s. Try and make your movement match the whole breath. Make your breath move as slowly as you can. And then right hand to the mat. Inhale, lift the left arm up. And exhale, a little side bend over to the right. So try and reach up and over like you're trying to reach on top of a countertop here. And I maybe grab an extra cookie without anyone noticing. And then switch, left hand to the mat. Inhale, lift the right hand up. And exhale, grab a cookie from this countertop. And we'll move 3 more times, 2 more times to make a total of 3. Right hand down, inhale, left hand up. Exhale into your side bend. Switching over, left hand down, inhale, right arm up. Exhale, side bend. Inhale to switch. Exhale, bend. Inhale, switch. Exhale, bend. Coming back to center, if you had crossed legs or crossed ankles, switch the leg so your other leg is crossed on top or under, whichever makes sense to you. You might not be fully even. I'm not even on this side, so I clearly need to cross this way more often. Lift both arms up, inhale to reach, shoulders are back and down. The reach is coming through the arms and the fingers here. Again, feeling that oppositional force, really pressing your hips into your sitting surface to extend the spine, extend the fingers. And then grab your left wrist with your right hand and a little side bend over to the right. Just a little one. Might not be as far because it's not supported. So it's a freestanding or free sitting side bend. You might be feeling this in the hip. You might be feeling it underneath the shoulder. You might feel it in the ribs. Totally okay. Just notice where you're feeling it. Back up through center. Release the arms, palms facing towards each other. Find that reach again, really pressing your hips down. And then use your left hand to grab right wrist Little side bend over to the left. Same thing here, just notice where the tension is. If there's pain, less of a bend. If there's tension, yeah, a little bit of discomfort with the stretch is normal. Come back to center, palms facing towards each other. Find that lift, inhale to reach. Exhale, hands to the mat. Release your shoulders, because they might have been starting to creep up. So maybe a couple shoulder rolls again. And then we'll do some very gentle twists here. Inhale, reach the arms up. Find that force, that lift in the spine. And exhale, left hand to right knee as you twist to look behind your right shoulder. Right hand can come behind. It can be on the knee. It can be a small twist. As long as you're not using your hands to actually go into the twist, they're just hanging out very gently. Every inhale, spine gets a little taller. Every exhale, come back to your twist. Breathing very deep into your lower abdomen. Feel any pain in the back or the arms or the neck. Twist a little less. Through to the other side. Inhale through your neutral. Find that lift. Exhale, right hand to left knee, whichever version you did on the first side, do it on this side as well. Even if it was just a little twist, cute little twist. Still pressing into the mat with your hips. Using that pressure to give you a little more length in your spine, all the way to the top of your head. And then coming back through to neutral. Inhale, lift the arms up, palms facing each other. And bring the hands together. Exhale, hands to your heart. Keep your shoulders back and down, so coming towards the spine and down the back if you can. A little bit of active scapular retraction here. You notice your shoulders tend to roll in. Try and focus on rolling the shoulders back out. If you need to open the arms to feel, oh, this is where my shoulder blades should be. And then try and bring your hands back together while keeping your shoulder blades in that externally rotated position. Try that. We'll do a little bit of rotation for the shoulders, just to hammer that idea in a little bit more. So arms come out to a T, out to the side. Palms face up. Elbows can be a little bit bent here, up, or hands can be at the plane of the shoulders, or elbows can be at the plane of the shoulders. It's totally up to you where in here you feel like being. But inhale here, lift the chest. Exhale, little bit of a bend in the upper back as we turn the palms down. Inhale, open the chest, coming to neutral spine or a little bit of a back bend in the upper back. Maybe lift the nose, look up. A quarter of the way up, not all the way up. Exhale, curl in, palms facing down. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open, back to neutral spine. And right arm on top as you exhale, give yourself a big hug. Lift the elbows. And release. Inhale to T with the arms. Again, this time left hand on top. Exhale, give yourself a big hug. Lift the elbows. And release. And arms come out to the T. This time, keeping the shoulders down still. Left hand is going to come to the lower back of the hand to the back of the lower back. Right hand is going to come to the back of the head, palm facing forward. If you can get your fingers to touch each other, I'll turn around so you can see what I'm doing. If you can get your hands to reach and grab each other, fantastic. If you cannot, this is totally okay to be here. Right hand just on the back of the head, left hand palm facing out at the lower back. Maybe you're just on the hip here and just on the side of the head. Maybe that's enough for your shoulders. Totally okay. Whichever version you're in, just make sure you're not moving your head too much to get into that position. If you have to move your neck to get your arm into position, move your arm a little bit less. Shouldn't have to do this slouchy thing to get your arms together. Inhale your arms out to a T. Another way. As you exhale, right hand comes to the lower back, left hand to the back of the head. See if you can bring your shoulders into touch, just as far as your arms will naturally reach. Don't make them force themselves. Just hang out. And we'll switch back and forth, moving with the breath. Inhale to T. Exhale, right hand to the head, left hand to lower back. Inhale to T. Exhale, right hand down, left hand to head. Inhale, T. Exhale, right hand to head, left hand lower back. Inhale, T. Exhale, right hand lower back, left hand to head. Inhale to T. Hold here, shoulders back and down. Feel the shoulder blades trying to come in towards your lower spine. If you can imagine that V contraction. Arms, fingers reaching out to either side. Sending energy out through your fingers to the walls on either side of you. And lifting the top of your head up towards the ceiling to receive energy from the sun, the clouds, the sky. Keeping that V contraction with the shoulder blades and that lift in the spine, we are going to bring the hands together at the heart. This time, pinky and thumb are going to come together with the bottom of the hand. Your other three fingers on either hand are going to stay open. Lotus position, Padma Mudra. The bottom of your hand, the pinky all the way around to the thumb, is in connection with your other hand. These three fingers are flying free. They're free petals. That contraction in the shoulder blades, that V. The shoulders relaxed, face relaxed. And any bit of you that has tension, as well as the top of the head, the hands in this position are going to attract love and light and energy, and it's going to come pouring into your body. All of that love is going to go to all of those spots of tension. Just take a moment to direct all of that energy wherever it needs to go. And it's love. We're not trying to stop the tension necessarily. We're saying, I see you and it's okay for you to be there. Thank you for letting me know that there is something going on with me that I need to pay more attention to another time. Big inhale in through the nose. And out the mouth, sigh. I'll bring the hands down to the mat. Uncross your legs if you were across, and we'll just do a couple of windshield wipers. So hands are just using to support yourself here. Knees are coming to either side. They don't have to go out far. Just a little hip mobility, just getting them waking up, moving a little. Notice any tension here. Send it a little bit more love. Any cracking hips that any of us might have. See you. I hear you. And then we'll bring the soles of the feet together, coming to a cobbler's pose. You can hold your toes, you can hold your ankles, whatever part you can reach. Sit up tall, maybe put the thumbs on the inside of the feet. Maybe give your feet a little squeeze. If your knees are really high up, totally okay. They don't have to be all the way open. Lift your chest. Hinge forward from your hips, not the lower back. Try and keep your back straight, keep your spine straight as you come into just a little bit of a forward fold. Really feeling a very big stretch on the insides of the thighs, the adductors. And then we'll very slowly come back out, and we'll make our way to all fours on the ground. So if you were on a chair, it's ground time now. Or carpet time, mat time, blanket time, time. But coming to your all fours, just take a moment. Make sure your shoulders are over top of your wrists, hips are over top of your knees, and pressing into the mat with all of your fingertips. Or if you need to come up to fists, you can absolutely do that. Just make sure you are on these two knuckles, second and third finger, the same ones in which you would punch somebody, because that is most stable. I'm not going to punch anyone today. So just coming to your all fours, just feel the way that you can press away from the mat. So let yourself sink in for a moment. Let your shoulders kind of relax. And this weird curve that comes up in the upper back and the neck. And then push away from the mat like you're pushing the ground away, and feel your shoulders come forward. Feel your shoulder blades maybe slide out a little bit. And we'll move back and forth there. So letting yourself come down, letting your shoulders rise up into this Scar Lion King hunch, and then pressing away. Just moving the shoulder blades back and forth. You might not be moving very much. You might be moving half an inch or a millimeter. So this movement is going to be very small, but this is what it should look like on a different scale. I have a lot of range, so you might just be here. Totally okay. Just feel that shoulder blade sliding forward and back. And the arm moves with because it's attached. The arm is not moving on its own. And back to our all fours position. Press away from your mat, feeling the shoulder blades sliding out. No scar shoulders here. Even a little bit of a round in the upper back is okay when you're pushing away. And a couple of cat-cows. So inhale, let your abdomen drop, belly button coming down towards the ground. Pelvis is going to tilt. Your bum comes up, head comes up, looking at the wall in front of you. And use your belly button to draw this opposite reaction. Belly button shoots up, lower back is going to rise. Pelvis tucks under, head tucks under as well. Head moves because it has to, because it's attached. Inhale to cow belly, move the pelvis first. Let it ripple through your whole spine until the head comes up last. Exhale to cat back, really using your ab muscles here to drive that movement. A little bit of that rounding in the upper back. Inhale, cow. We're doing 3 of these, right? Exhale, cat. And back to neutral. From here, we'll do some thread the needles. So we'll do right hand first, and we'll go very slowly, very chill. We're going to do 3, but the 3 will be a little different. Inhale, reach the right hand up. So left hand is on the mat, opening up towards the right side. Exhale, dive the right hand under, bring your right ear towards the mat, stretch for the upper back. Make sure your hips are staying even. Hips like to go off to one side. They like to get lopsided. So if you need to, focus on pulling your left hip back a little bit. And just breathe your upper back. And pressing into the mat with your left hand, we'll rise all the way back up into that open stretch with the right hand. And down to the mat. All fours. Other way, inhale, lift the left arm up. Opening up the twist first. And then diving underneath. Left hand coming underneath, right shoulder, left ear to the mat. Again, watch your hips. Don't let them swing off to the right. Breathe into your left shoulder. Also still breathe into your lower abdomen. And then pressing right hand into the mat. Inhale to rise up, open up with that left arm. And back to all fours. Moving through an extended sequence while still taking it a little slow. Inhale, open up with that right arm. Bring the back of the right hand to your lower back, kind of like we did earlier. Whichever part of your hand gets there is great. If it's just leaning towards and it doesn't quite get to the back, totally fine. If it comes all the way around to your left side, fantastic, but you don't have to. And inhale, open up again to that right side twist. Exhale, thread the needle, diving under. You can stay here or inhale, lift the left arm up. And same thing on this side. Turn the palm around to face behind you. Bring the left hand towards your lower back. Back of the left hand to your back or hip or side. Lots of shoulder stuff today. Inhale, open up the left side again, palm facing forward now. Exhale, bring it to the mat. Unwind, inhale, lift that right arm all the way up. Exhale, right hand to lower back. Inhale, lift the right arm up. Exhale, all fours. Other side, inhale, lift your left arm up, open up on the left side here. Exhale, dive. Nope, don't dive it under. Exhale, left hand to your lower back. Good job, good catch. Inhale, open up again on this left side. And then exhale, dive under. Fantastic, I remember. Stay here or inhale, lift the right hand up. Exhale, right hand to lower back or hip or in that general direction. Inhale, open up the right side again. Exhale, right hand to the mat. All the way, open up through to the left side. Exhale, left hand to lower back, back of hand. Inhale, open up again, left arm up. Exhale, all fours. And then just the stretch. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, dive it under. And hang out. See if you can feel a difference in the shoulder now, in the upper back. Make sure your hips are still staying even, not wandering off to that left side. And then press into the mat with your left hand. Rise all the way up as you inhale. Reach with the right hand. Exhale, all fours. Left side again. Inhale to reach, open up. Exhale, dive under. And hang out here. Feel if it's any different on this left shoulder now, upper back. Press into the mat with your right hand. Inhale to come all the way up. Exhale, all fours. Couple of calf stretches. While we're here, I'm just going to walk forward so I can stay on my mat. You don't have to. You can totally calf stretch off of your mat. Right foot back, up on your toes, and just lean back into it. Try and spike the heel towards the floor, or you can saw back and forth. Absolutely can. Using your fingertips to really grip into the mat if you want a little extra workout for your forearm flexors, your typing muscles. Really use your hands to drive that movement back and forth, coming from all of your fingertips, your whole hand. The heel of your hand should have minimal weight in it. Theoretically, you should be able to come up on tented fingers and do the same thing. Same muscle activation. If you were sawing back and forth, just come to a static calf stretch. Try and lift the back of your knee up towards the ceiling to really get that leg straight. And then bend the knee down to the mat. See if you can get it to touch. See if you can. Maybe spike the heel towards the back. Try and get your heel all the way towards the wall behind you as you get your knee to the mat. Stretching different muscles. And then release very gently, maybe a couple ankle circles there. And switch. Left side coming out, left calf. You can absolutely just do the static stretch here, or again, saw a little back and forth. Using your forearm muscles. Pressing away from the mat. Activating serratus anterior. As the shoulder blade draws forward. Tent your fingers if you want a little extra. Or you can absolutely be on fists. Remember to be on your punching knuckles. And coming back to a static stretch, whichever version you were in. If you were already in a static stretch, fantastic. Keep static stretching. Lift the back of your knee towards the ceiling. Really try and get that heel down towards the floor. Breathe. And then bend the knee. Let the knee come down to the mat if it can reach. Might need to adjust hands. And try and keep reaching that heel back towards the wall behind you. Different muscle stretches here. And release. And sit back on your heels for a moment. And shoulder circles, because that might have been a lot. Your shoulders or wrists are already getting tired. Don't worry, we won't do too much more on them today, but you can absolutely sit out if you need to. Fists is usually a little bit easier if you have wrist pain. Awesome. We'll come into our lunges. So if you want to do freestanding lunges, you absolutely can. If you want to grab a chair or a piece of wall to hold on to, I forgot to tell you to have a piece of wall next to you practicing today. Not really a prop, but just for stability. So coming up to our 90-degree lunges, right foot is going to come forward first. So you can bring it forward, make sure you have your 90 degrees. You might not be at a full 90 degrees. Your lunge might be a little bit smaller. Totally okay. Just make sure that your right foot is in line with right knee and right hip. Left foot is in line with left knee and left hip. Get out to 90 degrees. Fantastic. Front knee should be over top of ankle or a little bit behind. It can be a little bit forward if it has to be, as long as you're not putting too much weight on it. Not today. Hold on to whatever you need to hold on to. Press into the ground with your left knee. If you need to pat it a little bit, you can fold your mat over or grab a pillow. And use that oppositional force to lift up out of your left hip. If you're already feeling it here, you can absolutely stay here, just breathe. If you would like a little more, lift your left arm up. And maybe come into a little bit of a side bend to the right. This is where the wall comes in handy. Sorry for not telling you to have it sooner. And coming back up to center, lift both arms if you can in this position. Really push out of that left hip, really rise out of this left hip here so you're not sinking down into it. And we're gonna do a little twist. Inhale to reach the arms. Exhale, bring your left hand to your right knee. See if you can come into just a little bit of a twist here. Right hand can be on a wall, it can be behind you, it can be on your hip, it can be on your knee, whatever you need for stability. Just another stretch for some of those hip flexors. Come back through center. Inhale to reach up with arms, or if arms are holding on to something, reach up with your spine. And exhale, come forward, hands to the mat, and we'll switch. I will turn to face you as I bring my left foot forward. Coming to 90-degree lunge. Right hip, knee, and ankle are all in line with each other. Left side, ankle, knee, and hip are in line with each other. Relatively. My knees are a little off, so sorry about that. So coming up to your stretch, really push out of the ground with that right knee. Just trying to get you to be able to see me properly. You have something to hold on to on this side. Fantastic. I do not. If you're good here, just stay here. Just breathe into the hip flexors. You want a little bit more stretch. Inhale, lift that right arm up. And exhale, a little side bend over. Get those cookies from on top of that counter. If there's cookies left, might as well have them. Again, you might feel this in the shoulder, you might feel it in the hip, you might feel it in the back, as long as it's not painful. Every body is different. Come back through center, inhale to reach with the arms or just the spine. Exhale, a little twist over to the left. Right hand coming to left knee, left hand wherever it needs to be for stability. And you don't have to twist. You could totally still just be in this first position, hanging out in your lunge. Lunge is good. Coming back through center, inhale, lift the spine, maybe lift the arms. And exhale, down to the mat. I'm going to switch back onto the mat. Right foot is going to come forward again. Coming back to our lunge position. And we're going to do some ham rocks. That's right. She said it. So coming forward to a hip flexor stretch. Does not have to be a big one. It can absolutely be a small hip flexor stretch. And then rocking the hips back, really pulling your right hip back as your right foot should be forward to come into a hamstring stretch. As long as you're feeling the stretch in the right hamstring, and when you come forward in the left hip flexor, it doesn't have to be big. You can just be in this little range here. Inhale to come forward, keep your chest lifted. Exhale to rock back, stretch out the hamstrings. If you have a little more range, it might look more like this. but don't worry if you don't. That's fine. Whatever your best approximation is, just make sure when you are rocking back for the hamstring stretch, pull that right hip back. Don't let your hips trick you. They're going to go off to the side. Hips do that. Hips do lie, Shakira. Inhale to come forward, left side hip flexor stretch. Exhale, rock backward, right hamstring stretch. Inhale, come forward. And exhale, back to the hamstring stretch. One more time. Moving with your breath, trying to keep it slow and steady. And then settling back into this hamstring stretch, you can absolutely point the toes. If you want to, point and flex. If you want to, you can just stay static. Try and again, see if you can drive the back of that knee to make your legs straight. So this time, instead of driving the back of the knee to the ceiling, trying to see if you can get the back of the knee down towards the mat. Should help straighten the leg, the front leg a little bit. Might only get you a centimeter of difference, but hey, it's a centimeter. Your chest lifted. Staying light on fingertips or fists if you can. And then very gently coming out to switch legs. Ham rocks on the left side. Coming up to your lunge first, just settling in, finding where your comfortable range is. Mayhaps it is here. Inhale to come forward. Exhale to rock back. It doesn't matter how small that movement is for you. This time pulling the left hip back because the left leg is forward. If you want to, when you come forward here too, if you're not quite feeling it in the hip flexor, if you don't quite have the range for that, you can inhale and come forward and also come up. If you, again, have something to hold on to, fantastic. Use it to bring you into this higher lunge position. And then you can exhale back into your rocking position. You can do it without the arms if you want to be intense about it. This is more of an intermediate move I do in my intermediate classes. Sometimes it helps if you can't quite reach the ground, if you have something to hold on to, perhaps a chair on either side, something you can practice at home with. A few more times. Inhale to come forward, right hip flexor stretch. Exhale to come backward, left hamstring stretch. And one more. Settling back into our left hamstring stretch. Pull your left hip back. Try and get that left back of the knee down towards the mat. Try and really pull that left knee down. You can point or flex the toes. You can do both. And then releasing. Coming back to all fours for a moment. One round of cat-cow here, just to get your spine back in alignment, just in case your hips were going off. Your hips were trying to lie to you. Inhale to cow. Exhale, pull your belly button up. Woo, coming through to cat. Come back to center and we'll make our way to lying down. So however you get down to the ground, lie down. We'll say, I'm going to go on my right side first. If you can get your rights and lefts mixed up and still know what you're doing, fantastic. But we'll come into just a nice easy stretch. So bottom leg and bottom arm are going to be bent. If you need to grab a pillow for your head, you can. I'm just going to use my right arm, right leg, nice and bent here. Top leg, if it needs to be a little bit bent because of the hip or the back, it absolutely can be, but try and get it as straight as you possibly can. Left arm, top arm, straight up overhead, and then bring it down towards the ground. Very gentle left side stretch here. If it's too tense, if it feels spasmy, if it feels like it's really cranky, bend whichever limb you think is causing the problem. So whether that be your left arm or your left leg, just a little bit. Or just see as straight as you can get them. Find the limit. And then back off the limit a little bit. And breathe into your whole left side. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. You can sigh out the mouth, or you can start to do a little ujjayi breathing, where you use a small constriction in the back of the throat as though you are fogging up a mirror. So a regular sigh. And ujjayi breath, slow and controlled. That typical yoga breath you've probably heard or seen, as seen on TV. I'll very slowly switch to the other side. However you want to get to the other side is totally okay with me. I'm going to roll over my face. To get onto my left side, bending the bottom leg and bottom arm, keeping the right top leg straight. Right arm comes up overhead first and then all the way to the ground, up top. Breathing now into the whole right side of your body. Again, any discomfort that's too much, bend the suspect limb to take the tension out. It should be a gentle stretch. You might not even necessarily feel a stretch. You're still getting the benefit. And then very slowly coming out. We're going to end up on our backs, but everyone, we're going to come to our fronts first. Roll onto your face. Find a comfortable spot. If you need to grab a pillow, if you need to stick it underneath the ankles or underneath the hips, if your lower back is being really cranky here, you can put a pillow underneath the hips for this one. Or you can skip this one too. You can just go ahead to lie on your back and you can wait for me to get there. Whichever you prefer. But coming into your face down position, arms are going to come out in front. And it's like a reverse snow angel. You're going to keep your pressure really, really light in your hands. And very slowly, carefully, bring your arms all the way out across the sides. I've got a wall here. Down towards the outsides of your thighs. Your face can absolutely be on the ground. I'm just lifting it because I'm talking. So your head and your back can be relaxed, but the shoulders are going to be lifting your arms so that it's just hovering. Fingers are going to trail. Hand can slide, but try and keep the pressure in the hand as light as possible. If you're feeling up to it, you can absolutely have your arms hover and not touch the floor at all as they come all the way up, all the way overhead. Palms typically will face down for this one until you get to the back. Then palms can either face down or they can come to face towards the thigh. If you want to give yourself a little tap, say, yes, I got here, I made it, I touched the thigh, I win, and then slide back up. Hands don't have to touch at the top. They absolutely do not. They don't have to come all the way in front. Just doing a little reverse snow angel a couple times. Again, noticing if there's crunching, if there's cracking, if there's any kind of stiffness, as long as it's not painful, just notice it, acknowledge it. Say, I hear you, I feel you. Thank you for letting me know that I need to pay more attention and send more love to that specific shoulder or both shoulders. Really press into the ground with your pubic bone. That's this one right here. It's going to give you a little bit of lift in the lower back. So just check that pressure, again, that oppositional force. Eventually, that is how we come into locust, but we're not doing locust today. Don't worry. We might do it in future weeks, not today. And then roll onto your back, scoot onto your back, however you end up coming onto your back, maybe roll and then roll back. Take your time getting there. You don't even have to be on your mat anymore. You can be off your mat. You can be fully on the ground. And we'll have the knees bent. Get your heels just out of reach of your fingertips. And engage the glutes. Lift your hips off the ground just using your butt muscles. Just a little bit, doesn't have to be a lot. And then settle it back down. From here, just a couple of windshield wipers. Getting that pressure on the lower back against the mat. Help release some of those muscles there. Back to center. Bring your right knee in towards your chest. Put your fingers either below the knee on the thigh or below the knee, or sorry, above the knee technically on the thigh, or below the knee on the shin, whichever is more comfortable for you, whatever you can reach, just to pull that right knee in towards your right shoulder. So you can pull towards the thigh, you can pull the whole knee. If your leg is actually bending this much, bring your right toes to flex back towards your knee just to protect the joint there. Don't flex your toes in this position. You can, but not in this class. Flex and then bend. Breathe into your lower back. If you can, if whichever point of tension stops you, just breathe there. And then we'll switch. So bring that right leg down. Bring your left knee up and pull your left knee in towards left shoulder. Try and keep it in line with left shoulder. Don't let it wander across towards the right shoulder. It's not going cross body. And again, just wherever you can get your grip that is comfortable for you, maybe flex those left toes back. And hold your knee in, breathe into your lower back. If you have a lot of range here and you're feeling good about it, you can absolutely straighten that leg that you're not holding in. But you don't have to worry about it today. We can do that next time. And then let your left foot come back down to the floor. Again, check your heels. Make sure your heels are just out of reach of your fingertips. Another small bridge, so you can use your hands to really press into the mat here. Use your glutes, your butt muscles to lift your hips up off of the ground. Maybe a couple more vertebrae come up. And then slowly settle them back down. Make sure you are in proper alignment here. Again, bring your right knee in towards your chest, towards the right shoulder. And then draw circles with the right knee. Keep your left foot pressing down into the mat, or you can have that left leg extended if you really want it to. You don't have to. I'm not. Don't have to go fully into a big stretch to get the benefits. And all slow down. And other way, if you haven't reversed your circle already, I'm doing a haphazard random pattern. So whatever you're doing is probably fine. And then we'll switch. So right foot down, bring the left knee in towards your left shoulder again. Breathe here just for a moment. And then left knee circles. One way and then the other, or you can go circle back and forth, as I was apparently doing. Bring your left foot back down towards the mat. Again, make sure your heels are just out of reach of your fingertips. Hands can press into the mat. This time, really engage those glutes. Lift the hips up as high as you can without pain. Without any kind of pain or discomfort in the lower back. Maybe you get all the way up to a full bridge. If you are all the way at the top of the full bridge, really use your shoulders to press into the ground as well. Shoulders, feet. And then very slowly, whichever bridge you've gotten yourself to, release one vertebrae back at a time down to the mat. And the glutes relax last. Good glute activation here. And then we'll stretch them out. So get your right ankle over top of your left knee. Reach through to grab behind your left side if you can, and pull your left knee towards left shoulder. If you feel like you are not quite getting enough of a stretch here, you can absolutely get your right forearm up on the inside of your right knee and give it just a little bit of counter pressure just to open up that side a little bit more. So you can see my knee moves a little more here. And I get a little more of a stretch in that right hip. But you don't have to. Again, just breathing into the right side hip. Flex your right toes back towards your right knee. Forgot about that. Sorry. Big inhales and exhales here. Maybe a little ujjayi breath. Maybe a sigh of relief. Maybe even a frustrated, I'm still angry at life kind of a sound. As long as you're breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then we'll release this side. I will scoot around on my mat if you want a different angle to see while we do the other leg. Left ankle over top of right knee. Flex the left toes back towards left knee. Reach through, grab your right thigh, and bring the right knee in line towards right shoulder. It's going to want to come across to the left side because that's easy and there's no stretch there, but that's not the point. And again, from here, if you're feeling like, oh, I need a little more, you can grab that left forearm right on the inside of left knee. Give yourself a little counter pressure here, and then still use your right hand to pull that right knee towards right shoulder. Totally up to you if you need that extra bit. If you don't, just hang out, breathe into your left hip. Make whatever exhalation sounds you want out of your mouth. Slowly release. Get both feet back on the ground. I'm going to scoot back to position. Don't mind me. Again, last time, making sure your heels are just out of reach of your fingertips. We're just going to resettle ourselves here. Lift the glutes up. They don't have to come all the way, but maybe they do. Fantastic. Slowly lower one vertebrae back at a time. And we'll very slowly roll onto whichever side is facing the camera, let's say. To come up to sitting, where you can sit back in your chair, your couch, your bed, wherever you are practicing today. Sit up tall, use that counter pressure, that oppositional force, pressing your hips down to get your spine nice and tall. Padma Mudra, one more time, bringing the pinkies, the lower part of the wrist, and the thumbs together, hands in front of the hearts. Close your eyes. Breathe in all of that love for all the parts in your body that needed it today, all the parts in your body that still needed it, all the parts that were super cranky and didn't want to go along with it today. Love every part of you. Because it's totally okay to be where you are at right now. Come back to this mudra and this love for yourself anytime you need to in the next week or the rest of your life, but I'll see you next week. Stay hydrated.